But we all know the person who killed the most number of people is not President William Ruto, it is Uhuru Kenyatta. But also we must go back to history and remember that during the Kibaki regime, where Martha Karua swore Kibaki in State House at night, after that, 2,500 Kenyans died on the streets, in their homes, and everywhere else. These are the people who torched houses with whole families inside in Naivasha. These are the people who pulled Luos out of vehicles onto the roads in Naivasha and circumcised us using broken bottles. You can't tell us they have forgotten that. You can't tell us it is not written anywhere they can refer to. And these are the people you want us to go to and leave President William Ruto, who was stuck with us over the period, who embraced us. When Ruto was elected, the first county he visited was Homa Bay. He had no problem with Gen Zs then, but he still was our people. So we can't say he's looking for us because he wants us to help him anything. No. The projects President William Ruto initiated in our region were not done all after the body give me money. He believes I've been given money. You know, such a person is supposed to have one vote like me. A person who sees things, analyzes them, and yet he has seen nothing, he has analyzed nothing. To them he thinks, I can only support Ruto when I'm given money. I want him to tell me the mistake Ruto did that Uhuru didn't do. I want him to tell me, what is this that Ruto did that Uhuru didn't do? In fact, Uhuru and Kibaki committed crimes that have names. They committed corruption offenses that were named Anglo-leasing. Those are crimes that were committed during those regimes. Uhuru is the one who brought Eurobond and never touched down in Kenya, took the whole lot straight outside the country. And when the Auditor General tried to chase that money, he was warned publicly when all Kenyans were hearing. And then he said he wanted to go to the United States to trace where the Eurobond went. Uhuru went to a public rally and laughed fast and told who is he to go to America looking for Eurobond. Yet, somebody is telling us that Ruto is giving Nyota Fund from money that has been lent to Kenya. What about somebody who is giving Kenyans money lent to Kenya and somebody who is taking the whole lot of money lent to Kenya? Who is fit to be Kenya's leader? That person telling you that they are tired because somebody has preached to them tiredness. Idiots are those people you preach to them lies, they buy hook, line, and sinker and act the way you want, like they acted in those people who are dying in Shakahola. There are people who will believe anything preached to them. There are people who came out and preached to Kenyans that Ruto is bad, that Ruto is corrupt, that Ruto is, and they believed it, and now they are using it to make decisions.
Yeah.
You know, they are political.
Push this a little closer to you.
You know, they are political offenses and they are criminal offenses. There are those ones that you can take to court and there are those that you can't take to court. And I think for him to say we arrest Uhuru for that Eurobond is to get it all wrong, because look at Uhuru and the following he has. You are going to destabilize Kenya more than you are going to stabilize with that money, even if it were to be brought back. Huh?
So sometimes you let them go.
Even when Moi took power, you think Moi didn't know that Jomo Kenyatta looted land in this country? He never took him anywhere. If there is anything they think President William Ruto is not doing correctly, there are courts. They can go to and say, Mr. President, you are doing this. And President William Ruto has a very good record of obeying court orders.
Does he?
Yes. Even when CASs were banned by the courts, he didn't appoint them further. President William Ruto has obeyed every court order, not like Uhuru Kenyatta. He was told not to send Miguna out of the country. They went ahead and did it. Matiang'i himself disobeyed 12 court orders in 5 years.
12.
Yes, and this is the guy you want to bring to us to govern us. So if as just a minister for interior, he disobeyed court orders in their numbers, what will he do as a president? That guy is a bully. These people are talking are people who are incapable of looking at you and telling us your character. Yet these are people that when their children bring spouses at home, they just look at them and say, this is not a good girl, this is not a good man you have brought home. But how come presidents, how come politicians, even one that are looking bullish like Matiang'i, they can't foresee that this guy would be an Idi Amin if he's granted power? In this country, Kenya, which is surrounded by countries whose opposition leaders, all of them, were in jail, still think President William Ruto is a dictator and a bad man. Yet Rigathi is all over the place calling him all sorts of names in the world. Even small MPs call him all sorts of names. Kasongo, sijui nini, insult him in public, and he does nothing. Let me tell you, you don't know. 2013 and 2017, when Uhuru had won, in which 2017 I know he didn't win, he locked people in their houses. Nobody even went out to protest. There were GSU, even in Kibera, you get out and you find one at your doorstep. You don't even get out. Infringing even your right for freedom around your own house. And people never thought anything bad. But President Ruto, who allowed people to go to the streets of Nairobi, some even looted, some even assaulted policemen. Then you tell us one was shot, and so Ruto is a bad man. Let me tell you, during Kibaki, Interior CS Michuki ordered the Maasai to be shot on sight on camera. Told us that if you rattle a snake, you will be beaten on camera. And we saw nothing wrong with that. What is wrong is that the protests of 2024 had some people die. In which year did protesters in Kenya not die in the street? Which year? When Uhuru was dealing with the protests in 2017, 52 people died. And there were not even lootings. And there they were not even assaulting policemen. In 2013, 61 people died. And there we were not even assaulting policemen. When people were singing, Isaka San must go, people died. When did Baby Pendo die? In 2007, when Kibaki took power by force by help of Martha Karua, 2,500 people, Kenyans died. And we want to say, oh, Ruto aliua watu. Ruto didn't kill anybody. And we can't be in a country where a policeman carrying a gun without instruction from the government kills and you want to blame the government. Let's blame the officer on his personal capacity, take him to court, the way we have taken those we saw shooting innocent civilians. In fact, we took policemen to court, but the people who assaulted policemen, we never took them to court. We never took that lady who assaulted a woman policeman in Kimathi Street in the view of cameras. We never prosecuted that man we saw chasing a policeman on Thika Road and killing him on the back. He has not been prosecuted. There was a girl who was killed in their own house in Kiambu. And they said that was due to riot. And the girl was killed 2 kilometers away from where the protests were. We do not have a gun in Kenya that can travel 2 kilometers.
Is that so?
No, we don't have. And let me tell you, these people called the opposition bent on removing President William Ruto. They know the ordinary folk in the streets do not know to what extent political propaganda can be taken. They do not know politicians can kill their own friends and relatives, their own kith and kin, just for political mileage. Because and those records did not show that whatever came out of the servers were different. So, when this begins, Uhuru funds the protest against Ruto on the basis of open the server and on the basis of the cost of living. The people don't know that there is no switch somewhere where you turn it up, good cost of living, down, bad cost of living. And they don't know even how the president is supposed to improve cost of living of an economy destroyed by his predecessor overnight. So we were in the streets even before Ruto read his first budget to improve that very economy because there was ill will. They struggled. When it became impossible to remove Ruto from office through street protests, Raila called off the street protests. And what happens? The Uhuru people who were helping Raila in the streets, Kioni, Karoa, Kamanda, walked out on Raila and went back to their man Uhuru Kenyatta. And what did they do? They called Limuru 3 conference. They organized for the Gen Z protest. Because Raila had failed, now they wanted to use the Gen Z. Cambridge Analytica had taught them that now use AI, use a generation which do not have the benefit of history. Use a generation who are purists. Use a generation who are perfectionists. Use a generation who are energetic, and use them to throw this man. It's also a generation that if one gets injured in the streets, there will be public outrage. The same people who are saying Ruto killed the youth in the streets are forgetting that we saw photos of police boots on people's heads on tarmac. We saw videos of Land Cruisers running through Luo protesters on Kenyatta Avenue. We saw bodies being fished out of River Yala during the Uhuru and Matiang'i period. And now they are telling us to forget about that because Uhuru is no longer president, Ruto is the president. We must compare the past to present. We must look at the rearview mirror. Considering that is Uhuru organizing the opposition against President William Ruto, we must also see how did he perform when he was himself president. That is why I keep on insisting at every turn that we must look at these things you are accusing Ruto of. How did Uhuru do? You tell Ruto cannot hold a political gathering in State House, but all Uhuru's the crowd that was at State House, they thought otherwise, that this guy may be difficult to remove. And in their head, they think that was only possible because the meeting was at State House. They are forgetting that even before that, there were other political meetings in State House and they never reacted. They never responded. But this one jolted them out of their slumber. They suddenly discovered, kumbe, this guy has support through the country. And State House is a conspicuous place. And State House is a large place. And State House is probably what they think as a government officer to live in and have your office in. Are you stopped from meeting your friends, relatives in that house? President William Ruto is the legal tenant of State House. If he wants to meet people...
It is his residence.
It is both his residence and his office. And the reception into Kenya. So if President William Ruto wants to meet people, you are telling him, go out of State House, look for a place, meet them, and then go back. That is apartheid. Uhuru himself never did that. Why should Ruto do that? On 2nd October 2017, just days after Uhuru had been re-elected, Uhuru held a meeting, a political meeting, grassroots meeting with 15,000 women at State House. Towards the election of 2022, in fact, 2020 to be precise, there were a total of 11 political meetings held at State House. All the Jubilee Parliamentary Group meetings were held at State House. All these people were there. If they forgot in the first one, second one, third one, fourth one, until the 25th one, they never saw anything wrong with political meetings at State House. When Ruto is in power, they now think it is wrong. Just like we have had churches in State House from time immemorial, Mabati ones. When Ruto came out to improve them, a legacy issue arose. It will go into history. And it is President William Ruto who built a permanent church in State House like David, son of Obed, did it in Israel. The problem here, as I told you, is legacy, resources, and ethnic control. What did Raila achieve? Because he had a partner in Kalonzo. In fact, it is Raila who helped Kalonzo, because Kalonzo ordinarily would have been what if Raila didn't make him his running mate? What would he have been? because he wasn't running for any seat. Even this 2022, when he was playing hard to get, where was he going? He was going nowhere because already Ruto had a running mate in Gachagua. So where was he going? Even the other time, Uhuru had a running mate in Ruto. So only Raila could sympathize and pick him up and say, come here, in case I get it, you also get it. So this idea of people thinking that Kalonzo helped Raila or stood with Raila is neither here or there. Anybody from any community could have been Raila's running mate. Hanging on Moi, then he was hanging on Raila. He met Raila when Raila entered into cooperation with KANU, and Raila invited him to walk out with him. And if Raila did not walk out with Kalonzo, Kalonzo would have not become the Kamba kingpin. He would have been on the tail of the Moi things like Gideon Moise and the rest. So it is Raila who helped Kalonzo become who he is today. It is even Raila who taught him how to become a kingpin, how to benefit from kingpinship, how to get resources from kingpinship. It's Raila who taught him. In fact, it is Kalonzo who should go in his knees in Raila's death and thank him for making him who he is today.
Well,
even if you sell them at 50,000 each, it's only 5 million. That is the salary that Ida Odinga is going to earn in 2 salaries where Ruto put her. Why do you waste her time with things she cannot put in her purse or put in the bank? He has to employ a groundsman, atenge shamba sijui acres ngapi ya kufuga adult ng'ombe which will not grow. Please, let not be people who are easily hoodwinked by things that look big but has no value. Those 100 head of cattle look many and big, but they have no serious value. If they arrived in Kangoka Jaramogi when they were worth 5 million, they can only go down because they can only grow thin. They can't grow bigger because they were adult cattle. And as they grow thin, you also take care of them. Water, grass, and a herdsman. My friend, let's not be people who are easily fooled around.